the situation of where the film is placed, there are very strong external circumstances that impact on everybody's life. So I think you're very aware of the fact that you're living your three-act story in the context of everybody else, in a sense, in a way that in more stable places or where there isn't a lot of violence or war, everybody just gets on with their individual life and they're the circle of friends and family and so forth. So it didn't feel appropriate to make a kind of very individualistic story about a central character with a central story, but all the other characters serve that central story. And my co-writer and I, Irada Jabouri, who's based in Baghdad, didn't want that kind of hierarchy, actually.
I couldn't finish it because I have lived in this period in Iraq, and I lost my dad, I lost part of my family, and whatever you present was true and was more than that. Sorry, I'm just like, what we lived there was more than what I saw. So that's why I couldn't finish it, because it reminded me about what I experienced in that time. I left Iraq 2009, so all that I have lived it and I experienced it. Thank you so much for making it. Thank you so much that you, even if it's like a part of our pain, but at least some people, they know about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that comment.
The story is about a community and a myriad of individuals, and I think the fundraising was exactly the same. But at the same time, it was frustrating. I felt for Maysoon's frustration as an other and as a diasporan, as someone who belongs in two places, that whole grasping of who you are and the story you're trying to tell and who you're trying to tell the story for. And we see that so clearly here, that in a country that's been broken down, there is no film fund to represent that story. So I think it was very, very challenging. But the thing I have to say as an aspiring filmmaker, as a colleague, that I learned so much from Maysoon is that making art is a political act. And very much with her, with the requests that were being made to change the form of the film, that she is someone who I've learned what resistance means, the integrity means, and in watching the film at the end result of that, to feel what she did not want, which was what the Hollywood version of the Iraq story is. I did not feel manipulated in any way. I was made to think, and it was very much like a poem, you know, something you spend time thinking about, considering what does that mean? What does that relationship mean? And when the bomb explodes, you feel that the change of temperature and all these questions that we ask from here. Who are these people who are coming here? Why do they want to come? What have they left? And really feel like we've sat with them.
All through this film, I was thinking that this can't be Maysoon alone. There must have been a huge Iraqi contribution to this film. The kind of scenes they were showing, the kind of talk, the baker or the fisherman, when you can think of this, I was thinking, this is very Iraqi. And therefore, I really want you at the moment, apart from thanking Maysoon very well, to thank all the Iraqi people who contributed to this film.
Kulshi Maku, which is the Iraqi title, the Arabic title, is an expression in Iraq. When you say to people, I went to the supermarket today, the shelves were empty, Kulshi Maku, it can mean that. But it can also mean if you see somebody and you say, you're looking a little bit unwell today or unhappy or something. Shaku, what's up? And the person quite stoically will say, La la, kulshi maku. It's very Iraqi and it's very sort of, you can't, how do you translate this? There's no, I found that there was not a way of translating this into English. So it's in this peculiar situation where it has one title in Arabic, which has got nothing to do with the English or French title.
As the sort of one foreigner there on the shoot, I'd like to say that all the way through the whole shoot, and I suspect all the way through the war, Iraqis like to tell jokes. They tell a lot of jokes, like to smoke a lot, and no matter what the circumstances, they like to have a cup of tea. I think one of the things that was quite strange being there, just sort of anecdotally in one way, was that everyone had a story. I mean, everyone does have a story. But I think probably for the English, probably the closest thing that we probably have that's similar was the Second World War, where maybe a couple of years after the war, you would have met someone and everyone would have known someone who was in the army, and everyone would have known someone, who'd maybe been in a bombing in London, and everyone would know something. So all the way through the whole film, people were always telling stories that were just like the stories in the film. When there's an explosion and the young girl who's got the thing in her head, we were trying to make that work, and it was quite difficult. We had to lay a track, and there were all kinds of production things going wrong. And when she threw herself against the wall, I was chatting to her, I said, it looks a bit fake. And she went, oh no, I've been in 3 bombings. She says, this is what happens. And you can, oh, okay, yes. I am the only Brit here. But I wanted to say that because apart from being, actually, I had a really great experience. I love Baghdad. But the sort of people are sort of getting on with their lives in an incredibly defiant way. And that sort of you experienced, on the shoot every day.
This film is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very important to document our life in 2006, because seeing it now, it's like, did this really happen? And yes, it did. More happened, and it's so important that you told the stories, and I feel lucky I'm part of it. I loved working in the film. Everyone made me so comfortable and loved. It was amazing. Like that, when I came on set, everyone, you can feel that we were like a family. So I enjoyed every day of it, and I do wish that Maysoon will make more movies. Yes. Yes. I told her this before, and I'm saying it now loud. I do wish you make more movies. Thank you so much.